This FTP is being organized keeping in mind the significance of research in academics and the challenges faced by the researcher. Now to start with, I would request Dr. Sushanta Kumar Mandal, Associate Dean Research, Sharda University, who is also one of the conveners of this FTP and is also amongst our distinguished speakers, to welcome the gathering this afternoon. Mandal sir.
Yes. Hello everyone. Very good afternoon to all of you. So Honorable Chief Guest, Vice Chancellor, Northeast Hill University, Shillong, Professor S.K. Srivastava, our own Honorable Vice Chancellor of Sharda University, Professor Shivaram Khara, and Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, Sharda University, Professor P.L. Korihalu, our own Dean Research, Professor Bhuvnesh Kumar, and all deans of the schools, heads of the departments, and our distinguished speakers, Professor N.B. Singh, Professor R.M. Mehra, Professor Jogesh Tripathi, Professor Dinesh Kumar Bagga, Dr. Atul Singhal, Dr. Harishankar Shan, and all the participants who have joined us today from various parts of the country. It gives me immense pleasure to announce that we have received almost 250 registrations from 10 states under different disciplines like medical, engineering, management, law, business, and others. I, Professor S.K. Mandal, convener of this FDP, take this opportunity to welcome you all for this inaugural session of 1 week faculty development program on research methodology, which is jointly organized by our research development cell of the university and School of Dental Sciences. I hope this FDP will help in inculcating and improving the existing knowledge of research and will enhance academic and excellence. And our eminent speakers, they will cover almost all areas of the research so that you will have a good takeaway for pursuing the research and for your future academics. So I again welcome all of you to make this event and hope the event will be very successful. And I also expect some interaction, some questions from all the participants during their interaction with the lectures, as well as we request that we will also make it available, the recording versions of this FDP. So I welcome again to this FDP.
Thank you, sir. Moving forward, I would now request Professor Bhuvnesh Kumar, Dean Research, Sharda University, to introduce our participants to the theme of this FDP.
Thank you, Dr. Madhurma. Very good afternoon, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. The importance of this faculty development program is known to everyone. Keeping this view in mind, we have formulated this 5 days FDP, and the theme of this FDP is to deliberate on various aspects of research methodology with the basic aim to inculcate and enhance the abilities of faculty members to carry out independent research, write successful research proposals, and to enable them to write research papers for their publication in good journals, and also to present them in international national conferences, and to provide in-depth knowledge of research methodology that includes topic selection, literature review, research design, research tools, writing research proposals, writing research papers, intellectual property rights, and research ethics. After completion of this FDP, the participants are expected to understand the research process, which will help them to choose researchable problem with greater clarity and carry out the research in a meticulous way, not only interpreting the results of the study, but also make the research work published in reputed journals, translate research findings for the benefit of the society. Whatever research we do, we convert that research into a technology or the recommendation so that the light of the rays reach to the society for their welfare. Various topics to be deliberated during this 5 days long FDP include basics of research, its different aspects, literature review, research problem identification, basic and applied research, including health research, hypothesis formulation and testing, data collection tools and techniques, data interpretation and presentation, research ethics, writing and publication of research papers, references and bibliography, and last but not the least, protecting the IPR. We hope this 5 days long FDP shall be providing a unique platform to discuss all the domains of research methodology to convert our research ideas into working for the benefit of the society. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening us and taking us through the scene. May I now the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir Professor Sibaram Khara, sir, for a brief address.
Good afternoon, Dr. Madhura.
Good afternoon, sir.
Honorable Chief Guest, C.S.K. Srivastava, Vice Chancellor, Nehru University, Shillong. Professor N.V. Singh, the keynote speaker, and Professor Dinesh Kumar Bhagia. Dr. Bhuvanesh Kumar, Dean Research, Professor Mandal, Associate Dean Research, all the faculty members, HODs, deans, scholars, and all other participants. Very good afternoon and welcome, everybody. I think this is a good initiative has been taken by both the School of Dental Science and Dean Research. That is University Research Cell, to organize the faculty development programs, a week-long FDP on the research methodologies. And I believe that in this FDP, the scholars, students and faculty members all are participating. So for students, for scholars and for faculty members, few things we need to understand: operational process as well as some of the tips which will be given by our eminent speaker, how to conduct the research. So to brief about the research process in Sardar University, for the research course specifically, the recruitment process and then your registrations, confirmations of the registration and guide allotment, then you're specifying the coursework and starting the coursework and finishing the coursework and simultaneously taking up the some literature review or literature survey, so that at the earliest parallelly you can identify certain issues in the research area, thereby identify the problems, which can be taken up very quickly. And also the coursework confirmation, the completion of the coursework, and then the research topics and synopsis to be confirmed. And then there are requirement that at least 2 Scopus Index journal papers to be published, and then doctoral committee will recommend to write the thesis, and thesis will be reviewed, and finally they have to defend, and then so on they will get the degree. So the role of the faculty in this research process is very, very important. The guide actually has to play a very important role, as we have experienced that in some of the cases leaving entire responsibility upon the scholars, and in most of the cases we have seen that there is a concern about the progress of the research or completing few tasks in time, and some of the inordinate delay in their coursework and confirmation of the synopsis is there. So guide has to take a very active role in this, to be in contact with the scholars constantly and schedule the meeting instead of leaving entirely to the scholars, that as and when they will be prepared and they're ready, they will contact and come to the guide. I think little changes of the attitude is there. Almost many faculties are doing, but in some of the cases we have seen these are the delays are there. Probably in proactive initiative we can overcome this problem, and we can also thereby help PhD scholars which they do not realize, maybe unable to realize the real time what the loss of time happening and how it is leading consequence to face inordinate delay of getting the degree. So the initiative and the continuous contact is to be maintained by the guides, and of course those scholars who are very irregular and all those and some unacceptable things are happening due to the very few attendants are not coming to the university, except few special cases. Those cases will not be much accepted, and we also has to take a call on that, because the involvement in the research of the scholars, active research is very, very important. It's not that number game that we have 700 PhD scholars, but each and every PhD scholars has to complete and do the work and enhancing their own profile. The university profile also will be increased, because university also bound to prove certain achievements in terms of the research. So I would request that for these PhD scholars clearly explain them the rules and regulations and time-bound activities they have to do and criteria they have to fulfill. And then also some sessions can be kept for faculty members, the roles and responsibilities, and time to time if something is not happening proactively, they have to bring it to the dean research so that appropriate decisions can be taken. Now come back to the hello.
We can hear you now.
Now we can hear you.
So far I was not audible.
The last 2 minutes.
Okay. I will take one example of cognitive radio, where unused spectrums can be used in a particular space for other purposes. Because all the spectrums in a cellular or FM or AM or whatever is not used in a space continuously. So if something is not used, why not ad hocly to use that frequency for the other purposes? Now, if you want to find out the research problems in this, the research started with the spectrum sensing. What are the free spectrums are available? But in today's scenario, it is not like that. The spectrum sensing methodology is much matured over the 5, 6 years or 10 years. And then the spectrum management, also a lot of works have been done. We are talking about the dynamic spectrum management now. So when we identify a problem, we have to also see in a particular hot topic research area, how much research have been done and which particular area of the research now we have to focus to identify a and then you identify a particular problem which is unaddressed, maybe very scenario specific, maybe very application specific, maybe very technology specific, because the solutions can be given under different scenario. So unaddressed, some of the things or some new ideas can be generated, and then we can take up that problem, and then research is to be carried out. Some experiments, test beds, systems, real-time testing, empirical data. And you can claim that publish the paper, and you can claim writing your own work, and you can write the thesis. I am sure that problem identifications, then your conduct of the research, and then article writing is very, very important. Sometimes we have the problem, but we do not know how to conduct the experiments and which tools to use. Whether we are really using the appropriate tools or appropriate scenario we have considered. Once we have done that appropriately, then we don't write appropriately the paper. Sometimes papers are not accepted because of poor writing. Organization is that much. Sometimes also data, and we have written everything, but that does not have any flow, or we are unable to interpret the data in terms of the technology behavior or like that, a proper rationale behind the behavior of the data. So there are multiple regions and multiple steps are there to do the research. So this is the research publications part. But Sardar University not only focusing on the papers, Sardar University having a perspective, a broad perspective of the research achievement, where paper publications is mandatory for each and every faculty. One paper, actually it is 2 papers, but if 1 paper is there, then only per se will be considered, else it will be very difficult to consider the achievements to evaluate the performance. So it may be the prerequisite. So 1 paper everybody has to publish. But paper publications ke saath saath, you have to have, you have to try for the patent and consultancy. If knowledge creations and your expertise is there, whether that expertise can be utilized for consultancy purpose, or then writing your ideas in form of the funded project and bring the fund and establish the research lab. And then also patents will be there, books will be there, materials will be there, advanced research lab will be there, then training programs will be there, revenue generations will be there. So ultimately, through all these activities, a research credentials will be formed, and that will be the identity of the Sardar University. Recently, we have taken initiative for establishing the Center of Excellence. The Center of Excellence we have established. Central Instrumentation Lab is going to be inaugurated hopefully in 2 weeks. Everything is fine. And then much more multidisciplinary research teams will be formed and will be involving faculty members from different discipline and a broad perspective in a complex problem. People will be working and contributing his or her part, thereby giving students outcome and then working with other research organizations or other universities. So you have to now go beyond in the country or across the country. So we have to dream, and it is quite achievable. I'm sure that we are really started our journey in right direction, and within few years, these achievements, will be visible in outside as well. And for that, all the infrastructures, all the expertise, all the resources, and the ambience policies are in the process or quite a few things we have already formulated. Whatever gaps are there, we are trying to bridge the gaps. But one thing just I would request to the faculty members, that at the cost of the research, the teaching quality cannot be compromised. A good researcher or a person who is having good research, he is usually a good teacher and good administrator as well. Because I think that this administration is also a big system. It's a dynamic system, and it's and put our nuts, bolts, and tuning methodologies, processes to keep it healthy and outcome oriented. Therefore, the research competency will be sufficient to become good teachers as well as good administrator. And with this hope, I am sure that this 5-day FDP program will be very, very successful, and faculty members will be enriched with certain ideas, as eminent speakers will be delivering on this topic, various topics. With these few words, I conclude. Thank you very much for giving me opportunity. Thank you, and wish you all the best.
Thank you for sharing the words of wisdom. It is great honor for me to introduce and welcome our chief guest for the day, Professor S.K. Srivastava, Vice Chancellor, NEHU, Shillong. Professor S.K. Srivastava obtained his PhD degree in chemistry from IIT Kanpur, and after that he joined Manipur University and was promoted to the post of professor there. Presently, he is Vice Chancellor of Northeast Hill University, Shillong, a central university. He is a recipient of Commonwealth Fellowship and was a first doctoral fellow at the University of Bristol, UK. He has published a number of research papers in reputed journals and supervised a number of PhD students. He has also received from Chemical Research Society of India, Bangalore. He is a member of UGC Care Journals and also a member of Board of Governors, IIT Guwahati. In addition, he has been members of different search committees for the appointments of Vice Chancellor. Number of Indian universities. The institution is grateful to you, sir, for having kindly accepted our invitation and for sparing your valuable time and honor us by being our chief guest. On behalf of Sharda University, I welcome you and request you to address the gathering and provide us with your valuable input.
थैंक यू डॉक्टर मधुरिवा जी, नमस्कार आप सभी को, और पूर्वोत्तर पर्वतीय विश्वविद्यालय की तरफ से आप सभी को शुभकामनाएं. Very hearty greetings from the Northeastern Hill University. Very good afternoon to you all. Honorable Chancellor Sharda University, Sri V.K. Gupta ji, respected Pro Chancellor Sri Y.K. Gupta ji, Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. Khara, esteemed Pro Vice Chancellor Medical Wing, Professor P.L. Kariholi, my very distinguished friend and my elder brother, like fellow academician, fellow chemist, Professor N.B. Singh sir, the host of other dignitaries who are involved with this great event, the chairpersons, the conveners, the coordinators of the FDP, the learned speakers, resource persons, the participants, students, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed a matter of pride and privilege to me to be associated with this faculty development program, which is going to stretch over 5 days or so. And I congratulate Sharda University and the entire team, especially the dental school and the research development cell, for taking up this initiative. इसके पहले कि मैं कुछ कहूँ, अभी जो हमारे ज्ञान की देवी, बुद्धि की देवी माँ सरस्वती जी की वंदना में जो कुछ शब्द उसमें आए थे, शुभम हो, कल्याणम हो, आरोग्यम, धन और संपदा. So at this present juncture, I think Arogyam is the most important term or the concept, or for all of us, that we all should be healthy and free from this the COVID pandemic. So I wish you all please stay safe and wish you all good health. Coming back to this particular program of research methodology, which is being organized by the Research Development Cell and Dental School of Dental Sciences of Sharda University. I was just wondering what to share with my colleagues, and I appreciate the Vice Chancellor's views. I fully share whatever he has presented to this, to the gathering online regarding the research methodology and what we are looking for, what we expect from this program, etc. And also the earlier the former speaker also, my preceding speakers, if I recall, Professor Bhuvanesh ji and Professor Mandal Sahab, they have all talked about this. So I'll just add some of my thoughts, especially for the students and of course the young faculty member. As we all know that why we do research. I mean, I don't have to preach you on this. We all know that the dictionary meaning of research is something like that. We are trying to inquire, we are trying to search new facts in any branch of knowledge and so on. I mean, and we are basically exploring the truth, the originality in our whole scheme of things. And in doing that, of course, various processes are involved, which of course, if we break into the various components, especially when it comes to higher education and top-end research, you have all these objectivities. I mean, what are the objectives? What are the criteria for research? Then defining your problem, designing, sampling, measurement and those techniques, data collection, and host of other quantitative techniques also come in. How to analyze and process the data, the hypothesis, how to interpret your findings, then report it, and so on. And finally, it takes into a shape, of a research publication or a thesis, or a monograph or what have you. So, this process mein, basically what we are looking forward to from the very research activity, that is always on the back of the mind of every researcher. अब जैसे हम स्टूडेंट जब रहे हैं तो शुरू में हम रिसर्च करते थे तो ये क्या था भाई कि I should publish good papers in good journals, and then of course that is a license to get a good employment in a research institutions or in an academic institutions such as a university and so on, or other institutions of higher learning. As we grow up the ladder, then we become assistant professors, then further we go up. Then of course there are other things come in. But at the end of the day, as it has been shared by preceding speakers, there has to be an originality, there has to be your research work has to be innovative, it should be able to, we should be able to translate this research into some other activities, we should have patenting, we should have consultancy and so on. और आजकल हम लोग जैसे innovation की बात कर रहे हैं, we are talking about incubation, we are talking about startups, stands. Ultimately research का जो primary goal रहा होगा when we are young, like to do some work and publish some papers and ultimately get a research degree. Further, जब उसको आप आगे जाते हैं तो as a citizen, I think it's our moral responsibility also to keep in mind the challenges, the problems of the society, of the nation. We should be. I think I strongly believe, whether as a young scholar I have been, and also as a teacher, and also as a vice chancellor like you all, that we owe to the society, to the nation, who gives us the honor, who has given us the job, and so on, to support our families and things like that. And of course, with such assignments, there is honor also attached to that. So ये सब को अगर देखते हुए हम लोग इसको मतलब विचार करें, तो जो भी हम कर रहे हैं रिसर्च किसी भी एज ग्रुप में है, चाहे स्टूडेंट के रूप में, टीचर्स के रूप में, और व्हेन यू आर सीनियर एकेडमिक्स, आई थिंक ऑन द बैक ऑफ आवर माइंड वी हैव टू कीप दैट आल्सो very to the focus of the entire activity, कि whatever we do directly we should be able to solve the various problems which the society is facing, the nation is facing in every field. I will not go into the detail. Everything under the sun has to be included, be it environmental problems, health related issues, agricultural issues, and also the cutting edge technologies which will help in our defense sectors, and so on and so forth. A host of things I can talk about. So ये सब के हमको दिमाग में ultimately रखना है, so that ultimately we work for alleviation of the poverty, removing the poverty, removing and helping our underprivileged section of the society, and also strengthening the nation. और आजकल जो हम लोग आत्मनिर्भर भारत की बात करते हैं, तो ये सब डायरेक्टली और इनडायरेक्टली हम जो करते हैं, कैसे करते हैं, उसमें मतलब उससे लिंक्ड है. And I fully share with my preceding speakers. I'll be very brief about what I'm going to share with you. That ultimately जो हम लोग जो भी कर रहे हैं, we cannot do it for swanta sukhaya. Of course, that okay, there is an element of joy also is there when we do good piece of work and so on. So ultimately serving the society, the nation, that also has to be in back of our mind. And yeah, all those things have been in a way incorporated into our national education policy. आप किसी भी प्रकार से उसको देखें, especially when we come to the higher education, that whatever we do, we have to keep in mind, the excellence. Ultimately, it is the excellence in research, in knowledge generation, and so on, that is going to solve all these problems. Or these days, this whatever we do, whatever researches we do, our youngsters will be taking up, in future. That has to be, it is directly, indirectly connected with the rankings of the institutions also. So ये सब चीजें एक दूसरे से they are very deeply connected. So therefore, ये जो the present research methodology faculty development program which we are having, that before you take up an activity, how we should go about it, that is very, very important. Or I was looking at the event schedule which was sent to me. I think all those various issues have already been covered, and I really appreciate Sharda University for making this program in a very in a very comprehensive manner, taking into account the various topics, subtopics which are related with the research methodology. And especially, I think it is being also organized by the School of Dental Sciences. So especially the health related issues are also, I think they are being done separately, and also they have been integrated into this research methodology program. I'm indeed very, very happy, to be associated with this, and ultimately for my young, scholars, whatever we do, at the end of the day, as Honorable Vice Chancellor also pointed out for the university, that you have to have the quality of your research also should be very high. And it was mentioned by Madhurima ji regarding that my association with the UGC Care List. You all know that Consortium for Academic and Research Ethics. So please keep in mind that you have to publish in top ranking journals only, and those predatory and fake journals you should never even think of even in your dreams. Forget about the number. It is, at the end of the day, it is the quality that matters. And now it is mandated by the UGC, and universities on their own also, they have raised the benchmark of excellence. That's really good, as I learned from Sharda University. And I'm happy to share with you all that I have visited Sharda University campus a couple of times. I had interacted with Professor N.B. Singh ji, and visited his chamber and roamed around some of the buildings. I'm really impressed with the infrastructure, with the educational program of the of Sharda University. And I have just learned that a Center of Excellence is being set up, and also other facilities, instrumentation facilities is also going to come up, and a host of other activities are going to be taken up. So I wish Sharda University all the very, very best. And I'm sure with this program, especially I think about close to 200 plus participants are they will be enjoying the fruits of this particular program. So I'm sure at the end of the day, when our those faculty members and the young scholars, after having been exposed to this program, they will revisit how to do research, what to do. And sometimes, the inquiry for the truth should always be at the back of the mind for all in all of us. And please keep in mind that whatever you do, directly or indirectly, in what way, it is connected in solving a problem. And I also hold the view that good research, it generates new knowledge, and that new knowledge has to be fed into the teaching program, and then further the teaching program will also will inspire, will motivate students to further go for top level research and so on. So research and teaching, I think they go side by side. They have symbiotic relationship, and we cannot segregate research and teaching. And of course, when it comes to the leadership, academic leadership, as I think it has been pointed out earlier, I fully agree that a good researcher will be a good teacher, will be a good administrator, and so on. And ultimately, the objectives of national education, our policy 2020, I think we have to realize those objectives, and ultimately we not only have to enhance the the GER in higher education, but also we have to add we have to enhance the excellence level and quality level. And I think finally, I would just end up with a brief prayer to God Almighty. मैं ईश्वर से प्रार्थना करता हूँ कि हमारे शारदा विश्वविद्यालय के सभी लोग सुखी रहें. And I think it's better I recite the श्लोक. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामया और सर्वभद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्. Let the entire humanity stay safe, be happy. They should be free from any kind of disease, and everybody's welfare is assured, and nobody should have any kind of sufferings. So I think the responsibility lies on all of us, and this program, it shows the way how to venture into the journey of exploring truth, which is only not for the self-enjoyment, swanta sukhaya, but also दूसरों के सुख के लिए, दूसरों के भले के लिए हम लोग कुछ करें. So these a few words. Once again, I wish all the very best to Sharda University, and thanks a lot for giving me a chance to participate in this program, and share some of the my thoughts with you all. So wish you all the very best, and I will continue to be online for some time, to hear Professor N.B. Singh Saab, the next session or so. So thank you once again. Thanks a lot. Yeah. Jai Hind. Yeah.
Thank you for being with us and for your kind words of encouragement and the thought-provoking address that you have given. Thank you so much, sir. Now, moving forward towards the end of the inaugural ceremony, I would like to thank Dr. M. Siddharth, Dean, School of Dental Sciences, Sharda University, for his constant support and encouragement in organizing this event. And at the end of this inaugural, I would also request him to propose a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Manorama. On behalf of the Research and Development Cell and School of Dental Sciences, Sharda University, who have jointly organized this FDP on research methodology, we would like to thank our Chief Patron, Shri P.K. Gupta, Honorable Chancellor, Sharda University, for his vision and guidance, Shri Y.K. Gupta, Honorable Co-Chancellor, Sharda University, for his constant support. I would like to thank our chief guest of the day, Professor S.K. Srivastava, Vice Chancellor, Northeast Hill University, Shillong, for taking out his valuable time from his busy schedule and kindly consenting to be the chief guest, and for his valuable insights on research. I would like to thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sharda University, Professor Dr. Sibaram Phala, for his constant guidance and support. The Professor P.R. Karimolu, I would like to thank Co-Vice Chancellor, Sharda University, for his valuable insights and support. I would like to thank the chairperson, Professor Bhuvanesh Kumar, Dean Research, Sharda University, for his initiative and guidance. I would like to thank the conveners, Professor Prashanta Kumar Mandal, Associate Dean Research, Sharda University, and Professor Dinesh Kumar Bagga, PhD Coordinator, School of Dental Sciences. I would like to thank all the distinguished speakers of this FDP, Professor N.B. Singh, Professor R.M. Mehra, Professor Yogesh Tripathi, Dr. Atul Sangal, and Dr. Hari Shankar Shyam. Lastly, I would like to thank all the participants from various colleges, from various states who have participated. There are more than 250. Thank you so much for attending this FDP. I would like to thank our coordinator, Dr. Madhurima Nanda, Associate Professor, Department of Orthodontics. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Like to thank you everyone for staying with us for the inaugural ceremony. Now we'll start with the sessions. Before we start with the sessions, I would request all the participants to kindly keep the mics off all the time, and whatever the questions are there, they can ask at the end of the session in the chat box. The questions will be answered after the end of both the sessions. And to start with our sessions today, I'll invite our first speaker for the day, Professor N.B. Singh, and it's my pleasure to welcome him and introduce him to everyone. Professor N.B. Singh, former head chemistry department and faculty of science, GDU, Gorakhpur University, is presently professor at chemistry department of SBSR and Research and Technology, Sharda University. He was postdoctoral fellow at the Free University of Brussels, Belgium during 1973 to 1974. He has worked at University of Clausthal University and also the Dortmund University, Germany. He's also received many awards, including the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Indian Association for Solid State Chemists and Allied Scientists at VIT Vellore. He has published more than 290 research papers, authored 8 books, and written 10 book chapters in edited books published by elsewhere. His citations are 5800, H-index of 35, and ITIN 135. We are blessed to have you with us for the lecture today, sir.
थैंक यू मैडम। ये मुझे आप शेयर करें स्क्रीन तब ना।
जी सर। सर अब आप शेयर कर सकते हैं?
Is it visible?
It is visible, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon to all of you. First, I would like to congratulate Research Development Cell and the School of Dental Sciences for organizing such a FD program on research methodology and giving me an opportunity to share some of my views. Already the session is late, so I would like to condense myself. The topic of my talk is research and its various aspects, or you can say various facets of research. Before I start my lecture, I would like to give some quotes given by some important persons which are very much relevant to research and research methodology. First quote is imagination. Imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited. Albert Einstein has said that those who have not committed any mistake have never tried to do something new, because in research, you are going to do something new, you are bound to commit certain mistake. And if you have not committed any mistake, then people may think that probably you have not done anything new. Every failure is a step of success. So when you get failure, don't feel that you are not able to do it. It is a step for success. Swami Vivekananda has said, take risk in your life. In doing research, there is a risk. You may succeed, you may not succeed. According to Swami Vivekananda, take risk in your life. If you win, you may lead. You will become a leader. If you lose, you may guide. Now, American President Roosevelt has said that great minds, for research you require great minds. Great minds discuss ideas. Average minds discuss things, and a small mind discuss people. Research is creating new knowledge. It is said by Neil Armstrong. Science is about knowing, engineering is about doing. Believe in yourself and all that you are. Know that there is something inside you that is greater than any obstacle. Further, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Always believe that you can do it. Don't be disheartened. Basic science is what I am doing when I don't know what I am doing. Because from this type of concept, new ideas come into existence. Research is our prestige. Never compromise on your core values. Excellence is not a destination, but a journey. Creativity and innovation sometimes need inspiration from other disciplines. Excellence and creativity go hand in hand. There is a thin line of difference between confidence and arrogance. Confident people are always open to learn. Arrogance, on the other hand, stops learning. Now, to have a research goal, start from here. Set a goal, make plan, get to work, stick to it, and reach to the goal that is the ultimate aim. Why research? Why we want to do research? There was a time when studies were knowledge-oriented, but now the things are changing and changing fast. It has now become career-oriented. However, there should be a balance between the two, that is knowledge and career. Today we have knowledge-driven economy all over the world. The challenge before us as we continue to forge ahead in the knowledge-driven regime of today is to transform our human capital into knowledge capital for rapid economic development, creation of wealth, well-being of our people, and for playing an important role in world affairs. Higher education institutions, particularly our universities, are the main institution for transforming our human resources into human capital. Today, we are living in a dynamic world where time domains and geography are rapidly shrinking, but the space and opportunities are expanding with competition and innovation as the key drivers. We have also witnessed remarkable advances in science and technology, which have greatly fueled the economic growth in a rapidly globalizing world. We are in an age of transition, and things are changing so fast that many people feel insecure. It is an age of progress. Progress means change, and we all need greater flexibility of mind and preparedness to face all changes while retaining our faith in that which do not change. Adaptability is essential to meet the challenge of our era, the era of science and technology, with both wisdom and courage. Science has given us vast knowledge, and this knowledge has brought us immense power. The backbone for a sustainable development is to understand thoroughly what is going on, and for this, one has to do research. In the future, we will not be able to compete on the world stage with low labor costs or by exploiting vast reserves of mineral resources. We will have to compete with our brains and with our science, and this requires a lot of information and innovation. So one has to do innovative research, not the routine research. Research is the transformation of money into knowledge. Innovation is the transformation of knowledge into money. In general, research, particularly innovative research, has been identified as a prerequisite for meaningful industrial and socio-economic development. Research generates and propels inventions, discoveries, and drives the present-day outburst in technological advancement in as information technology, aeronautics, astronomy, medical, education, and major socio-economic changes. Invention can be thought of as a new man-made device or a process. An example of invention is telephone. An innovation can be defined as simply a better way of doing things or an improvement to an existing product or invention like mobile phone, smartphone. Discovery is the primary process used in science and uncover new knowledge. Thomas Edison invented over 1,000 patents, but only made one scientific discovery. This discovery was called the Edison effect. To innovate, accept the challenge, think differently. Innovate means accept the challenge, think differently, make a change for better. If everyone is thinking alike, then somebody is not thinking. If you always do what you always did, you will always get what you always got. Albert Einstein. Great innovation only when people are not afraid to do things differently. There is a way to do it, better find it. What is research? Research components are re means again, search means find, and process step by or phase wise doing the same thing. Now, question is, what is the research? The systematic rigorous investigation of a situation or a problem in order to generate new knowledge or validate existing knowledge. Any honest attempt to study a problem systematically or to add man's knowledge of a problem may be regarded as research. The aim, as far as I can see, is the same in all sciences. Put simply and curiously, the aim is to make known something previously unknown to human beings It is to advance human knowledge to make it more certain or better fitting. The aim is, as I have said, discovery. Research is a logical and systematic search for new and useful information on a particular topic. It is an investigation of finding solutions to scientific and social problems through objective and systematic analysis. It is a search for knowledge, that is the discovery of hidden truth. Here, knowledge means information about matters. A research lead to the existing knowledge. Only it is possible to make progress in a field. Research is indeed civilization and determines the economic, social, and political development of a nation. The results of scientific research very often force a change in the philosophical view of problems which extend far beyond the restricted domain of science itself. The information might be collected from different sources like experience, human being, books, journal, and many other things. Study in depth is research. Research is about exploration, discovery, and curiosity. Research is all about the questions, your reader's questions, your questions that lead to more questions. Systematically collecting and analyzing information to meet the questions of the problem under study is termed as research. Research attempts to explore hidden facts about something, makes way for discovery and perhaps invention, which culminates to industrial and socio-economic development. Research has not only become instrumental to development in different spheres of human endeavor, but also proactive as the major parameter for solving human problems, searching for answers to basic questions, be it science, social science, or art. Research is not confined to science and technology only. There are vast areas of research in other disciplines such as languages, literature, history, and society. Whatever might be the subject, research has to be an active, diligent, and systematic process of inquiry in order to discover, interpret, or revise facts, events, behaviors, and theories. Applying the outcome of research for the refinement of knowledge in other subjects or enhancing the quality of human life also becomes a kind of research and development. Research is an organized and systematic way of finding answers to questions. Systematic because there is a definite set of procedures and steps which you will follow. There are certain steps in the research process which are always done in order to get the most accurate results. Organized, there is a structure or method in going about doing research. It is a planned procedure, not a spontaneous one. It is focused and limited to a specific scope. Finding answers is the end of all research, whether it is the answer to a hypothesis or even a simple question. Research is successful when you find answer. Sometimes the answer is no, but it is still an answer. Questions are central to research. If there is no question, then the answer is of no use. Research is focused on relevant questions and focus, drive, and purpose. Now there are a number of questions which are asked in research. Questions may be what, when, where, who, how, why, and one has to give answers to all these questions. Basic research often focuses on intellectual satisfaction, educating, equipping the mind, and contributing to knowledge. In basic research, one answer what, why, and how. Applied research is for practical application. Science, the systematic, just a minute. The systematic observation of natural events and conditions in order to discover facts about them and to formulate laws and principles based on these facts. The organized body of knowledge that is derived from such observations and that can be delivered verified or tested by further investigation. Any scientific branch of this general body of knowledge, such as biology, physics, geology, or astronomy. Science is an intellectual activity carried on by humans that is designed to discover information about the natural world in which humans live and to discover the ways in which this information can be organized into meaningful patterns. A primary aim of science is to collect facts, data, and ultimate purpose of science is to discern the order that exists between and among the known things. Engineering, the creative application of scientific principle to design or develop structures, machines, apparatus, or manufacturing process or works utilizing them singly or in combination, or to construct or operate the same full cognizance of their design or forecast their behavior under specific operating conditions, all as respect as intended function of operation and safety, life and property. This is under the purview of engineering itself. Science aims to understand the why and how of nature. Engineering seeks to shape the natural world to meet humans' needs and wants. Science studies the world as it is. Engineer create the world that has never been. Technology. Technology is the process by which humans modify nature to meet their needs and wants, to know how and creative process that may assist people to utilize tools, resources, and systems to solve problems and to enhance control over the natural and made environment in an endeavor to improve the human condition. Often science and technology appear together. Some characteristics of science. Science is empirical. Science relies on experience more than authority, common sense, or logic. And in empirical research, it should be inductive, observation, evaluation, deduction, and this observation. Some other characteristics are science is objective. Objectivity means that same conclusion should be arrived if same observation is made. Science is self-correcting because science is empirical. New evidences may contradict the old ones. Science is progressive because science is empirical and sense-corrective. It is also progressive. Science is tentative. Science never claims to have the whole truth. New information may make current knowledge obsolete. Science is concerned with theory, development of how things work. Who is a researcher? The question is, who is a researcher? One who is keen in learning, knowing about something that interests him or her. A researcher must acknowledge that she knows very little and there is so much to learn. Urge to learn more. Non-judgmental, open-hearted attitude towards research, giving priority to truth and research before your personal comfort and conveniences, having patience and perseverance. Complete commitment to research area. Once you have zeroed down on a particular area of research, you must be totally committed to that topic and stop moving around in different areas of research. This is important because as you go deeper and deeper into one particular field of research, your line of thinking develops in a particular way. And the moment you change your field, your thinking has to again realign with that new area. If you want to dig a well for water, then you need to dig deep and at one place and not a small pits at many places. The same way, you need to focus on research area rather than just moving around. Research is not only doing and finding new things or discoveries, but it is a training how to tackle a new problem. Make research your journey and not just your goal. What are the benefits of research? When I say research, means good research. To get a degree, particularly for students who are enrolled for PhD degree, if they do research, the aim is or benefit is to get a degree, to get respectability, to face a challenge, to solve a problem, to get an intellectual joy, to serve society by increasing standard of living. In case of science and technology, scientific research is funded by public authorities, by charitable organizations, and by private groups, including many companies. Scientific research can be subdivided into different classifications according to their academic and application discipline. Research characteristic originates with a question or a problem, requires clear articulation of a goal, follow a specific plan or procedure, often divides main problem into sub-problem, guided by a specific problem, questions or hypotheses, accept certain critical assumptions, requires collection and interpretation of data. There are certain significance of research. According to famous Hudson maxim, all progress is born of inquiry. Doubt is often better than overconfidence, for it leads to inquiry, and inquiry leads to invention. It brings out the significance of research, increased amounts of which makes progress possible. Research encourages scientific and inductive thinking, besides promoting the development of logical habits of thinking and organization. Now, before you start, you have to choose a problem. Of course, alone you cannot choose a problem. You have to discuss with some guide or supervisor. So choosing a supervisor is a big task. Now, before you choose or before jumping into the unknown, remember that your supervisor will be your guide. One of the most critical decisions you have to take. For supervisor, the question is an expert in the area you selected, is internationally recognized in the area, is well connected in the international scientific arena, is willing to and able to promote your work at conferences and the like, is active research publications, has previous supervision experience, is interested in the topic you selected, can provide research facilities, is willing to fight the system for you. Will you be integrated in a group? Do you want co-supervisor? Personal chemistry with your supervisor is also important. Relationship with your supervisor, scientific and methodological guidance, suggestions and assessment, reassurance support, polishing technical writing, resources, hosting project, contact, social networking, facilitator or access scientific channels, experience, mentor, friend, confidant, advisor, and also voice of region. These should be the quality in your supervisor. But there should be a quality in the student also. Hard work, enthusiasm, labor resource for projects, etc., generation of experimental results, contribution to publications, contribution to project proposals at a later stage. What is research and its advantage? Now we start with basic research. Basic research starts with curiosity, and this curiosity leads to amount of knowledge. Now this basic research can be utilized for applied research, and this applied research is useful for advancement of technology. And this advancement of technology is application development, that is the utility of applications. And this, when you can convert this knowledge, this technology into a product, then quality of life is affected. Steps in carrying research, choice of a problem. Now the problem will be delivered by Dr. Dinesh Bagga. I will not go in that. Review of literature, hypothesis, methodology, collection of data, interpretation of data, and conclusion. Now, I'll just give one or two slides for choice of problem. Now, for choosing a problem, the question is, where do we go from here? You are beginner and standing here. Now the question is, where do you want to go from here? Research problem is like an identification of destination before undertaking research journey. Consideration in selecting a research problem, you have to think many times from your mind, not by your heart. You think from your mind. Interest, magnitude, concept measures, expertise, relevance, data availability, and ethics. All these parameters should be taken into account when you decide your problem. Formulation of a research problem, where from you start. Identify broad field of subject area of your interest. Dissect the broad area into sub-area. Select what is of most interest to you. Raise the research question. Formulate the objective. Assess your objectives and double check are sufficient interest. Literature review is the primary thing for starting your work. Now, it is one of the most important component of a research. Checklist for information for scientific literature review. Is the information reliable? Where from you are getting the literature? It should be reliable. Is the information error-free? Is the information factual? Is the information verifiable? What are the professional credentials of the authors? Does the author have the subject matter expertise on this topic? Is the information relevant? Is a clear distinctive made between facts and opinion? Is the information biased? Is the information correct? Does the information meet current needs? Does the information provide in-depth information? Now, what is literature review? An overview of previous research on your research topic. A literature review is an evaluative report of studies found in the literature related to your selected area. A comprehensive review of all published research that is relevant to your proposed investigation and guided by your research objectives. The review should describe, summarize, evaluate, and clarify this literature. It should give a theoretical basis for the research and help you determine the nature of your own research. While the form of the literature review may vary with different types of studies, the basic purpose remains constant. A systematic method for identifying, evaluating, and interpreting the work produced by researchers, scholars, and practitioners. Without it, purpose of the literature review, before you can create new knowledge, we must first know the current state of knowledge and about research subject. Effective researchers will use knowledge and insights of other and draw on elements of prior research. In the literature review, the task is to learn as much as you can from the efforts and work of others, which is published in the scientific literature. When we say scientific literature, standard literature, reliable literature, convey the depth and breadth of research, what has been accomplished on a subject, identify important issues and link to hypotheses, identify key areas of missing knowledge, what we say here as a research gap, describe methodology in a distinct data set used, helps you learn everything about your subject, ensure that you are not reinventing the wheel, helps you learn about the people in the field, highlight flaws in previous research, outline gaps in previous research, so that the work is adding to the understanding and knowledge of the subject. There are certain questions you have to keep in your mind. What is known about the subject, you must know beforehand. Are there any gaps in the knowledge of the subject? Have areas of further study been identified by other researchers that you may want to consider? Who are the significant research personalities in this area? Is there consensus about the topic? What aspects have generated significant debate on the topic? What methods or problems were identified by others studying in the field, and how might they impact your research? What is the most productive methodology for your research based on the literature you have reviewed. What is the current status of research in this area? What sources of information or data you identify that might be useful for you? How to do a literature review? Define the research topic, compile and prioritize a list of keywords, identify sources of information, read, evaluate, analyze all the work, discuss findings and conclusions with others, important for understanding context, gaps in previous research, divide work into supportive and authenticated position, identify relationships between work in the literature, articulate how these apply to your research. Not all literature should be included in the review, only scientific literature. That this is literature which has been through a peer review process. This includes professional journals, formal research reports, university affiliated bulletin reports, and monograph. Also includes similar publication of research foundations and international organizations. Now there are a number of pitfalls in literature review. Be very careful to check your sources when doing your literature review. Many trade magazines are not peer reviewed. Professional conferences and journals often have each article reviewed by multiple people before it is even recommended for publication. The IEEE and ACM digital libraries are good places to start looking for legitimate research. The internet can be a good source of information. It is also full of pseudoscience and poor research. Make sure you verify the claims of any documentation that has not been peer reviewed by other professionals in the industry. Search it. What are the sources from which you can have the literature review? Books, journals, conference papers, dissertations, bibliographies, maps, internet, indexes, electronic databases, government publications, theses, interviews, and other unpublished research. Now, research process in general, we can have 8 steps, starting from formulating a research question, research design, instruments for data collection, selecting a sample, research protocol writing, data collection, data processing, research report, and ultimating its publication. These are linked with different steps, different methodology. Now, at the end, I would like to say that research is hard. If you are really doing good piece of research work, it is very difficult, it is hard. All research involves risk. If your project can't fail, it is development, not research. Along your career, you will accumulate a lot of failures in research. Even the apparently successful researchers accumulate many failures. Research always takes much longer than it initially seems. Crucial to success is making your research part of your journey, everyday life. Think about your research in background mode all the time. You will find that your rate of progress seems to vary a lot. Sometimes no progress at all. At other times you get stuck and feel like you can't do anything for a long time. Setting your sights too high leads to paralysis. Work on a sub-problem to get back into the flow. It's hard to get started working in the morning, easy to keep going once you have started. Leave something easy or fun unfinished in the evening that you can start within the morning. Fear of failure can make work hard and discouraged. Never be discouraged, never be afraid that you can't do it. With all these, I'll just stop it and thank you very much.
For speaking on a very important topic, that is the basics of research, especially the literature review. If anyone has any questions, we'll take up at the end of the session. So now I would call upon our next speaker, Professor Dinesh Kumar Bagga. Before I invite him, I'll just give a brief introduction of Sir. Dr. Dinesh Kumar Bagga did his MDS BDS from King George Medical College, Lucknow. He has a total teaching experience of 24 years. He is currently working as professor and head Department of Orthodontics, School of Dental Sciences, Sharda University. He is also the PhD coordinator for School of Dental Sciences, Sharda University, and has guided about 27 postgraduate dissertations and is also a PhD guide currently. He has published 36 research papers in national and international peer-reviewed journals. Professor Bagga has also been invited as a guest speaker at various national and international conferences and has also chaired many scientific sessions. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. My slide is visible?
It is visible, sir.
Okay. Okay. So the topic of presentation today is research problem identification. You can see. It's not working. Okay, so I'll be discussing about the research problem identification. And before I start this problem identification, I would like to discuss a brief outline of the research process. As Dr. N.B. Singh also discussed in brief the steps involved, it starts with the research problem identification. Formulating the research problem by identifying, selecting, and defining it. That is the very much first step and most important and very challenging step. And after that, we go for extensive literature survey to specify the problem, to formulate research questions and develop the hypothesis. Then methodology is described, selecting appropriate research design, a sample, and developing a data collection instrument. Then collection of the data by administering the data collection, data collection instruments. Then recording the data, scoring and tabulating for analysis. Then select a suitable statistical technique to analyze the data. Then generalize, interpret, and finally we prepare the report. So in this entire process, the first step is identification of a research problem. That is believed to be the first and most important step in research process. This is considered to be the most challenging task, especially for the beginners in the research field, and it's a very time-taking exercise. And we should give more and more time and more and more effort to this important task, because the research problem identification only guides us what data to be collected to answer the question. If data collection is improper or not relevant to the problem, then the entire study may need to be repeated. So a clearly stated research problem is said to be half solved. So define your destination before beginning a journey. What research is intended, where I'm going, what I will do, will it withstand scientific scrutiny, how I will do, what I may achieve. These all the things have to be kept in mind before starting the journey. Once we don't know the destination, we don't know about the goal, it's very difficult to continue towards the goal. We have to be focused, we have to have a very focused question to which we are finding the answer. Steps in defining the problem. First of all, formulating initial research question, which is a very broad one, a broad topic, a broad area. So that is the initial one, but that has to be refined through the survey of literature. So we have reviewed literature based on initial research question, throw light on various aspects of that literature, theoretical framework, what are the methodologies, data collection methods, tools, everything, and try to find out the gaps. So outline gaps in previous research, and that gaps have to be addressed. Avoid duplication and avoid those subjects also which have been overdone. So we are not here to duplicate the study already done. We know the answers. we need to find out the gap, and that gap has to be addressed. Then refine the research question. Whatever initial research question, now we can refine it. We can delimit it, scope of your research question. If it is too broad, then analyze the research question into sub questions, break into pieces, and focus on those questions, those questions which have greater impact, which are significant, not only significant for the value addition, for the significant value, also for further research. Now, identify a research gap. What is missing or what is not addressed? What happened and what could happen? The question or problem that has not been answered or addressed. Its need, its importance, its necessity. That actually establishes the research gap which needs to be addressed. So basically, what is a research gap? What we actually do and what we intend to do. So there is a gap that we want to know, that we want to evaluate. So we can say a perceived gap between the existing state and the desired state, or some difficulty in conceptual framework, or a contradiction, for example, one or more desired outcomes having two or more courses of action having some efficiency, but not equal, resulting in a doubt which is better. So to go for better clarity, which one is better, then we can investigate. So that requires a meaningful understanding. Okay, so a perceived gap between the existing state and the desired state, or some difficulty in conceptual framework, or a contradiction. For example, one or more desired outcomes having two or more courses of action, having some efficiency, but not equal, resulting in a doubt which is better. So to decide that, we have to carry out the investigation. So that requires a meaningful understanding as well as deliberate investigation. So we can say that any condition where we go for any solution, any consideration, any inquiry. It's not working. Okay. Okay. So research problem needs to be defined to find answers to questions, or strengthening existing findings to bridge the knowledge gap to solve the problems. Generally, a broad area is selected, then that is narrowed down to a specific statement of a problem which is researchable. So it has to be researchable, it has to be focused, it has to be specific, and it has to be narrowed enough to answer. After selecting the broad topic, what you do, you just go and read all the literature related to that. Relevant literature has to be searched, and make a preliminary list of all possible contributing factors and their explanations by brainstorming and also by review of literature. So we have so many contributing factors and explanations by reading. And then that is the preliminary list. When you get better understanding, now you can understand that what are the irrelevant facts in those literature, whatever irrelevant facts you have, you notice, you can remove. Now you can select the literature which is related to the concerned topic. And once you eliminate irrelevant facts, you can prepare the final list of probable relevant facts and explanation. And once we have all the relevant facts, now we can check the variables, we can identify variables, independent variables, which are predictor variables, and response variables, which are dependent variables. So, and those variables have to have the operational definitions because that has to be objective, that has to be clearly defined, all the variables. And if number of variables are so many, then you can limit the number of variables as per requirement. And finally, you can make a narrative, arrive at an assumption leading to the research problem, so that you can write a statement of a research problem which has to be addressed. So this research problem must address the gap in knowledge. It must be significant to the extent that it contributes positively to the research. It has to have contribute positively to the research, because as I earlier said, that this should not be the duplication of earlier done work. It must help in further research. It should add to research. It should give direction to further research. So whatever we have got, it should give a direction. It must be stated clearly so that proper data collection can be done. Whatever data you collect, that must be relevant. So the problem statement should be such that it should be very much focused. It should guide the data, and data itself is raw. It's raw in nature. It doesn't tell you anything unless it is properly utilized. So it has to be relevant to the problem, so that once you utilize the data, you process the data, you finally reach the result which should answer the question, whatever question you have framed. Research gap must be in the researcher's interest. So that is very, very important. Unless researcher is interested, he is not likely to read more and more. It is seen that when the researcher is very much interested in that topic, he reads it widely, and he gets wide knowledge, he gets better understanding. And then it should suit his or her time, the knowledge, skills, the background knowledge, skills, what the researcher has, and the resources, equipment, accessibility, budget, management support, etc. And it must be ethical. Avoid unnecessary words for better clarity. Any flowery words, any subjective words should be avoided. Avoid value statement, ought, should, better, than, poor. Use objective terms. Avoid dichotomous questions. Dichotomous questions are very bad because they are not in-depth investigate the matter. So we have to address the depth of the problems. To avoid dichotomous questions like in yes or no, agree, disagree, correct or incorrect kind of thing, because we have to know the depth of these things, the various levels. Avoid problems related to moral or ethical issues. Writing or defining research question. A problem clearly stated is believed to be a problem half solved. Stating the problem, it can be in question form or declarative or descriptive form. For example, we can say what effect has tobacco smoking on human lungs, or we can say a study of effect of tobacco smoking on human lungs. So it is the form only. It can be declarative or question form. Components of research problem. It has to have relevance. It has to have some background. It has to have a very clear title, and variables, whatever is mentioned, they should have operational definitions. Avoid ambiguities in questions. Use well-defined terms and be specific. Even the outcome should be well-defined. How to measure, which population, which characteristics, demographic characteristics, including age, race, gender, ethnicity, religion, income, education, home ownership, sexual orientation, marital status, family size, health and disability status, and psychiatric diagnosis, etc., etc. Objectives of the study should be clear. Delimitation of the study, it has to be focused. It should know its limit, scope, and limitations of the study, how much it covers and how much it doesn't cover. What are the limitations? Sources of research problem, how to get the problem. So sources of research problem, based on research, researcher makes inquiry. That is the initial thing. Based on the research, he makes inquiry. Percept to concept. So perception is must to develop a concept. So it can be anything in the environment, maybe your personal experience, day-to-day observation may give an idea. For example, students of the college are observed to be smoking, then that also gives an idea. Or your professional place, if you are working in some NGO or a company, or in company, or industrial exposure, or going to the field, or attending some clinic as a doctor, anywhere you can get the practical experience. So a variety of practical experience may stimulate the initial research question. For example, while extracting a tooth of a child, the child is found to feel less discomfort in the presence of a parent by a dentist. Or we can say a customer spends more time in a shop where chairs are available for sitting of customers, and that improves footfall as observed by a shopkeeper. Or a slow learner child, when admired for every small activity or progress he makes, is observed to show improvement in performance by a teacher. So any kind of the observation can give an idea. Then further, when you go for critical appraisal of literature, if you read widely, looking at relevant articles in the literature may give rise to questions in mind which are not answered and may indicate need of additional research. Existing theories, research is a process of theory development and theory testing. Pratiksha?
So, we cannot hear you clearly, no?
Now it's working. Okay, critical appraisal of literature, looking at relevant articles in the literature may give rise to questions in mind which are not answered and may indicate need of additional research. When we go for the literature evaluation, we read it widely, many things we know, we get better understanding, but at the same time we have many questions, and I'm sure all the questions are not answered in the literature, and those few questions which are not answered can stimulate the research question. Existing theories, research is a process of theory development and theory testing. A part or parts of theory are subjected to testing in a clinical situation, which serve as a good source of research problem. So whatever theories are developing, when they come in professional setting, that is a very good source of research question. We see that how much it works, whether theory explains all that or not. And at the end of previous researches, nowadays, if you see a good article, then at the end of that research, it is analyzed, and the limitations of the study are well mentioned, that what are the limitations of that study, and further scope of research is recommended. So that may also indicate the need of additional research. Then the social issues, the issues of social concerns or controversial social issues at national or global level may also suggest a research problem. Even the community engagement, or even among the people, there is the urgency of an issue or the topic which is discussed. So according to the need of the society at national level or global level, that may also draw attention. Folklore's common beliefs in one's field, if that has to be tested, that can also be taken. Intuition, that is the reflective mind, also a new way of solving a method can come to your mind. It may be a new idea, but it can suggest a research problem. Then consultation with experts, whoever are experts in the field, they better know about that discipline, and they know the current trends in that discipline, and what are the latest research problems they are tackling. So they can give an idea because they have very sound experience in that field, and they may guide for finding out a research problem. Brainstorming sessions can be attended at the conferences, symposia, and you can discuss with your peer group, interested professionals in the same field. That also provide novel idea to formulate a good research problem. Then the day-to-day technological advancements and social changes. Social changes lead to the social needs, changing in social needs. Then technological advancement need the involvement in various fields of life. So the demand changes in education and professional services. They also could serve as a source of research topic. Criteria for selecting a research problem: interest of researcher in the research topic. This is the first and most important aspect of the criteria for selection, that is the interest. Whether researcher has interest or not. It starts from interest only. If he does not have interest, he should not start that topic. He should search only where he is interested. That is the first and foremost thing. So when a researcher has interest in selected research topic, he has a curiosity to know more and more about it. He is more likely to read widely on the topic and develops a better understanding. At the same time, many questions also arise in his mind, out of which some remain unanswered in the available literature. Then that leads to percept and concept, but willingness, dedication, and commitment are not a sufficient criteria. It is more than that. He is interested, but understand your capabilities as well as limitations also, your background knowledge, your experience, required skill and ability you have or not, how much experience you have in that field. So you should ask yourself, am I equipped with knowledge and experience to carry out research in this area? Don't encroach area beyond your authority. So first of all, you should know your knowledge, experience, whether you'll be able to do or not. So your interest and your knowledge, experience, skill, ability, everything. So it starts from there. Then the size of the problem has to be manageable. It has to be specific. It has to be clear. So from broad topic, it has to be narrowed down and make it very much focused. For example, investigating changing role of professional education in different countries of the world. This becomes very big topic. It needs to be narrowed down to manageable size, that which country, which type of professional, what aspect you want to see. Then the feasibility. Feasibility, whether you will be able to conduct that experiment or not, despite your knowledge and interest, will be able to do or not. So that feasibility has to be checked. The related research materials and sources of research are within one's reach. Practical constraints, you have to see constraint of the budget, availability of research funds based on national priority or urgency of an issue. Maybe funding agency are providing or not on the research topic you are taking. So you have to see funding agency's priority, how much fund is required, how will you manage that. So funding agency provide fund in a specific area. So you have to search for that. So money is a key factor. Then time frame. You cannot do study for very much long, say 10 years, 15 years. You have to see time frame, that how much time you have allotted for that study, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, so on. Then availability of data or subjects, whether you will be able to collect that data, what you have worked, research question you are choosing, because will you be able to get those subjects and the cooperation from the participants in the study. So that you have to ensure. Then availability of supervision, whether you have some supervisor who can guide you in the same field. And it has to be researchable problem. Research problem should be such which can be investigated through data collection and analysis. So that is the way that we collect the data, we analyze the data, and we answer the question. It has to be researchable. It should not be like, for example, should students exercise their rights? Should the student prefer engineering over medical? Such issues can be discussed. These are not researchable problems. So you have to see that not only focus, it has to be researchable problems. Then whatever problem you're choosing, you have to see its uniqueness, its novelty, its originality. As Dr. N.B. Singh was telling, the finer, feasibility, interesting, novel, relevant, so ethical. So here the uniqueness, originality, novelty is important. You have to ask, will it contribute something new to the body of the existing knowledge? Will it be value addition to the existing knowledge? Do not duplicate study using time, energy, and money. You're just wasting the resources if you are just duplicating it, simply duplicating it. You have to see what makes it different from what has been done before. Different research design, different samples, different method, different equipment, different statistical technique. What is different? Avoid a subject that has been overdone, avoid duplication of the study. Then ethical issues, it should be thoroughly examined what ethical issues can affect and how to overcome those issues. Then the management support, the environmental support, the atmosphere where you are working, whether you will be supported for that or not. Managing the variables. If you have to identify, you have to give operational definitions. It has to be very clear. You have to classify independent variables, dependent variables. You have to see their number, that they are manageable or not. If they are more, you can limit their number. Finally, you evaluate the problem you are taking. In the end, you have to evaluate that this is the final research problem I have identified. I'm going to work for it, maybe for 2 years or 3 years. Then just find out the problem is feasible and worthwhile. Feasible, it is specified, it is researchable, it is new, it is unique, it is original, it is manageable, it is not too large, it can be managed. Availability of data is there. I have the subjects, I can get the cooperation from the participants. Availability of resources, it is in your reach, the material and all, whatever equipments are required, the time frame, you have to see the money required, it can be managed, your own capability, do I possess ability and skill required for solving the problem? And to check all that, you can conduct a pilot study. Have I conducted preliminary study to explore the problem, to understand the feasibility or difficulty in conducting the experiment? There, you can check your data collection instrument, how it is working, whether you want to refine it or not. So that also gives you an that how much feasible it is. Then finally, is it worthwhile? Will results advance knowledge? Will results have some value? Will results be of interest to others? So others also should be interested. It is making significant contribution to the existing knowledge. It is giving direction to the further research, so that its addition is recognized by others. It has an impact. It has an value addition to the existing knowledge. With this, I end my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your wonderful presentation, sir. Now, maybe take up the questions. So we have one question from Soma Ghosh. She wants to know whether we can use the published database for hypothesis validation. Will it be ethical to use it? Can you hear me, sir?
I think this will be covered in ethics. Professor Yogesh, you can keep this question. I think he'll better answer. Professor Yogesh Tripathi, he'll be answering this question because he is taking the part of research ethics.
Okay, sir. I think that is on day 8. So we'll take up this question with Dr. Yogesh Tripathi. So we'll just note it down. Anyone else has any questions? Sir, Gitanjali Tehleramani wants to ask if there has been a study in Africa and want to do something similar. Is it possible or will it be fine to do it here?
We have to have some reason. If you have taken research problem identification, it should not be same. It should not be duplication of the study. But if you feel that in different population, it should be studied because of many different things, it can be studied. It can be studied in different population if you feel that there are very, so if you have the reason that why it should be different, both the populations are different, so whether they should be same or different, so you can conduct that study. Then it is not the duplication, because everything is very well defined, that how much the study is done. That's why I said, when you go through the literature, you have to see what is the theoretical framework, what is the methodology, what is the data collection method and all, and on which population it is done, and all the variables have been defined. If you feel, so in the end, you have to answer that how my study is different. is it's being done on different population, or I have different research design, or I have a better equipment with which I have better data collection tool. So what is different? If it is different, then it is fine, because it is adding to the knowledge. Maybe to the maybe in the same thing on different population, but it is making a contribution, and maybe you won't get the same result. So you can do it.
So Dr. Manish Bhargav wants to ask, is there an ideal sample size? And if yes, what should be the ideal sample, or does it depends on the type of statistical tools used?
Actually, this also will be covered by, I think, Dr. Atul Sangal.
Yes, sir.
So data collection and all, sample size determination and all. So he'll be discussing. I think this question also we can keep for
Yeah.
other days.
This question for the next day. Okay, so I don't think we have any further questions today, sir. So with this, we come to the end of the first day session, and we'll see you tomorrow again at 2 p.m. You have to join with the same link. Every day the link is going to be the same. So I thank you all the participants for being with us today. So everyone here is, I think, asking for the recording. So we will have to see if we can just provide the link. We'll talk to the organizers, and if it is possible, we'll provide with the recordings or maybe the slides.
Dr. Madhurima, in the chat box, somebody is asking that they are registered and they are not getting the link.
So I just saw the message. Probably there must be some error in the email address. So we'll send the link. I've noted it down.
So can we end the meeting here?
Yes, sir. We'll end the meeting now.
Actually, she has given the mail.
Okay, so we'll send the meeting link again to this.
You just note down the mail ID and please send the link.
Yes, sir. So I think we'll end the meeting now.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much.